Hi, this is Matthew from the Matthew Show. I just want to mention a few things. I'm reading a thread on Facebook, has to do with the money problems. Some people being rich. How are people rich? Well, let's really, I want to look at the original post, the OP. Here's the OP. How do you feel about wealth and the wealthy? Of course, there may be envy or jealousy or even resentment, but really, how do you feel beyond that? I personally believe that people who earn their wealth should be able to keep it after paying taxes to whatever country they claim to be citizens of. There's so much wealth in the US and worldwide. People have inherited wealth, but also people have wealth due to their entertainment value in sports, acting, music. People whose wealth came from working in the finance industry and CEOs who at one time earned 50 times the average worker. CEO compensation has grown 940% since 1978. CEO compensation has grown 940% since 1978. Typical worker compensation has risen only 12% during that time. Now, if those numbers are accurate, and I have no reason to doubt them, there's one ridiculous joke right there. One of those jokes you want to cry about. Is their wealth out of proportion to their contribution? I guess that entertainers, sports, and acting become wealthy because consumers are willing to pay to be entertained. But are CEOs worth as much as they're paid? Are entertainers worth as much as they're paid? Why does this income disparity exist, and why does it represent contribution or power or connections? And does it represent contribution, power, connections? What does this mean to the long-term prospects for society as a whole? This is by Joyce. And I just wanted to share a couple of key points that I think about money, my opinion about money and this great disparity, where you've got somebody making $10 million when they make a movie or more. And then you've got somebody digging ditches and they're making $1 a day, maybe. There's this huge disparity and there's this huge problem. Does the person who is earning $10 million for a motion picture, do they deserve that? And then the person who's digging ditches, do they only deserve $1? We're talking about deserving. Where does this idea of deserving come from? Well, to me, it comes from a matter of compassion. You know, I think every human being has the right, if we feel compassion. See, compassion is the judge here. It's the driving force. It's the motivation, and it's the way, it's the ruler that we use to measure who deserves money or who deserves to have a good life. Maybe not money, but who deserves to have a good life, to have the things they want, have a reasonable amount of leisure, in addition to a reasonable amount of contribution to others, in addition to a reasonable amount of joy, in addition to a reasonable amount of food and clothing and shelter and happy family times and happy babies and weddings and banquets and things like that, where we get to enjoy each other's company. These are all common denominators that all human beings desire. But there are a billion people, you know, that never get close to that. And we've got 1 million children dying every year of malaria in sub-Saharan Africa. We've got 15,000 children dying every day alone, just for lack of very basic. So this is where I come from. I come from the area of compassion. It's not about a money game where I can make as much money as I want so that I can have the life that I want in isolation or ignoring what others need and what others want. It's more about people are suffering, and there's something wrong with that because I say so. Because when I come from compassion, which I believe in compassion, I believe in love. When I come from that place, I don't want to get the new Tesla or the new Ferrari or the big house or the private jet. Or even more than that, I don't want to have these nice dining experiences where I'm talking about baloney with somebody and, you know, just wasting time. I believe the most important thing in life, in this world, is that we're in touch with our compassion and that we act out of that. And I think that all the key problems in the world are solved by being compassionate. And that comes from community, a special kind of community. So why is there disparity in money? Because the money system and the resources, by the way, just like power, like in government or politics or leadership, people who want to manipulate that power, people who want to have that money are the ones that are best at that because they focus on that. And some are naturals and some are, learn the hard way. But the people who amass wealth are good at amassing wealth. There's no direct connection necessarily at all to serving the public. As a matter of fact, if we look at all the wealth in the world and we look at all the death from neglect, there's no connection at all. And so there are a lot of people out there that are compassionate, that are begging for money, begging for help for these people. These people are begging themselves. But that's not how the money system works. The money system works based upon people who are clever, people who have the right environment, the right culture, the right skill set to amass wealth. That's how the money system works. So we've got this whole system in America where they're draining on Wall Street. Just how can I get another $1 billion from this or that? Buying and selling properties. People that are starving, people that are penniless, people that are drinking dirty water in the middle of nowhere, be damned. I don't know what to do about them, blah, blah, blah. Tell you what to do about them. Have compassion. So money, skills, focus, culture, environment, these help people to be rich. They use the money system. So the world really is run by the money system. It's not run by compassion. Money has much more power. And people are ignorant to this because they're not taught about this really. People don't know about this, so people become slaves. I remember when I was a computer consultant in San Diego and San Francisco, the people that worked in these big businesses, these conglomerates, these corporations that are controlled by a board of directors, these people are miserable. The politics are a joke. I mean, the way people treat each other and the goals that people have, it's got nothing, it's absolutely the opposite of anything that's compassionate. Why? Because it's money-based, it's money-centered. So what do people try to do with this system? They try to create welfare. They try to create, oh, well, if you're a poor family living in the south side of Chicago, we're going to give you food stamps, or we're going to give you some kind of welfare. You think that empowers people? See, this is a power game that these people are playing. And if I want to disempower you, I'll just give you these resources in a very, very limited way. And I'm not going to create a community center to where you can learn skills, train others, share information about how to become more powerful yourselves. See, the agenda of the powerful is to keep the power, right? Now, if you think like an animal, and a lot of people think like animals, we have that inside of us, right? That's where we came from. So we still have a lot of this instinct about maintaining our own power and the competition. And sometimes we fabricate, or sometimes we bring in, or sometimes that's all we operate from, is the idea of, I want to stay on the top of the hill, or as close to the top of the hill as possible. And you got to keep others down in order to do that. If you're an animal, if you're a competitive animal where you're eating each other, well, that's not a compassion model. We're human beings. So let's go off a model of compassion, and let's think about the people that are dying every day. 15,000 children under the age of 5 dying for no reason. 15,000, imagine if that was your child was one of them, because nobody gave a damn. This is significant. If you come from the place of compassion, money doesn't, and the world doesn't. The world is money and power centered, right? Okay. So this welfare system is garbage. What a lot of people consider socialism, socialism is such a, becomes such a dirty word. So I use the word community, and that also can be a dirty word because people don't know what it is. It's not tribalism. Community is people working together, cooperating, so that we can all have happy lives. It's as simple as that. You don't keep people down. You don't do power plays. You have compassion towards each other, and you help each other to have a happy, productive, enjoyable life. That's what we all want. But most people, they don't know how to do this. They don't think about this. They're too busy trying to be a single mom or be the best salesman at the dealership, or they're thinking more about that every day. They're thinking about staying healthy, and they go to the gym, and then they have a nice meal or whatever, and then they go to sleep, and that's it. That's their cycle. That's the cycle. And there's no thinking outside of that. There's no ability to think outside of that because people aren't raised to think outside of that, because by far, people are not raised as compassion as the center. Human beings taking care of each other, taking care of our planet, taking care of our homes, taking care of our children, having healthy babies, having happy lives. That's not the focus. We're not taught that. That doesn't exist in schools usually. And if it does exist in school, it's 1% of the education is kind of ignored. So community, real community, is about us empowering each other. How can I help you? How can I teach you to fix motorcycles? Because we need motorcycles, a lot of motorcycles in our town. How can I help you to do that? Because I'm a motorcycle expert, for example. Even money management, because that's the system that we're using right now. Instead of compassion, money's got to be part of our lives. So how can I help you to manage your money, or to make money, or to deal with money? Finally, money is a tool. Money is a tool of the power system. So when we're thinking about, is it fair that a CEO makes so much money, millions and millions, and then the common workers, the common laborers, make just enough barely to survive, and sometimes not to survive? I have friends in Africa and Uganda, and a lot of them, the only way they have to make money near their home is to break big rocks into smaller rocks with a little hammer, sit on the dirt by the quarry, break those rocks down, then give those rocks to somebody. Maybe they'll make $1 or $2 a week. They make very little money. Are these human beings somehow deserving to have this kind of a difficult life? Is somebody who's a multimillionaire, do they deserve to have a better life? Now, let's not use this idea about this guy can play basketball so well, so he deserves to have all this bling. I don't think so. I certainly don't deserve to have any bling myself if I don't have any compassion. So I think the world is upside down. We need compassion for each other. We need to take care of each other. And that's number one. Maybe the bling can wait. Maybe the third Ferrari can wait. Maybe the big house with 7 bathrooms for 3 people, maybe that can wait. Maybe what we need to do first is come from a place of compassion and focus on helping each other. And the best way I know how to do that is to establish community centers where people can walk there if they don't have other transport. Enough community centers to serve, especially those in the greatest poverty first. Those who need a little bit of penicillin, a little bit of a water filtration system, some solar panels so that they can charge their phone, an ability to communicate by phone, an ability to meet someplace and communicate and deal with their problems. A place where they can go and grow vegetables, a place where they can contribute. This isn't welfare. This isn't a handout. This is a system that helps people to get on their feet. Like children, when you have a child, you don't expect that infant to go out and get a job or take care of themselves. No, your job as a parent, or one of the key jobs, because you love your kids, right? You're going to be compassionate and raise them so that they can take care of themselves, so that they can find a mate and have a family, whatever it is they want to do, so they can become the greatest artist that they could possibly be. We want to nurture people to empower people. Well, if you don't have that chance and you become an adult, whether you're 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, you still need that nurturing. You still need that support. And you can't get it from your parents because they're long gone. And that's not enough. Maybe their parents are poor too, because they didn't have a community. So the community center is there to provide the resources that people need, so that when they contribute to the community, when they help out in the greenhouse, when they help out with the chicken farm or whatever, they can also, they give and they take, right? And this helps to nurture, and there's people there that can help to nurture us, and we're working together as community. It's a right now, every person for themselves kind of a world, and those with the greatest skill and those born lucky because they have parents that are rich, or they have parents that have resources, they know how to manipulate money. This is how the world is run right now. Manipulate power, manipulate money. Look at anybody who's in politics. Look at anybody who's in a position of power. It's always about an environment. It's always about a focus, not on compassion for others. And just because you're a billionaire and you give $10 million a year to the starving whatever somewhere, that's not compassion. That's a tax write-off.